Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. I had to go to Lowe's yesterday to pick up a few things that I needed, so I thought I'd check out the lumber prices since I've been hearing and seeing articles on lumber prices going up dramatically. Now I haven't needed any lumber for a while, not since last year, so I thought I'd go check it out and just document what the lumber prices are as of today. And ladies and gentlemen, incredible. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you how much it cost me to build the 4 walls of the main part of my house. Now when I say the 4 walls, that's exactly what I mean. Just the lumber that it took to build the 4 walls, not including the floor or anything, just the 4 walls that measure 32 by 16. So I have 2 walls that measure 32 feet in length and 2 walls that measure 16 feet in length. And then I'm going to go ahead and share with you some pictures that I took while I was at Lowe's on the various types of lumber that they have and how much they charge for them. Now I don't have any receipts dating back to 2015, but since I bought so much of the 2 by 6 by 92 and 5/8 lumber at that time, I remember about what the price was at that time. I'd probably be off within a few pennies or so. Same thing with OSB. And same thing with the longer dimensional lumbers. I'm going to go ahead and show you a spreadsheet that shows you how much I used of each of those items that it takes to build my walls, how much I paid for it back in 2015 when I built the walls to this house, and how much it costs today. That way you can see on a percentage basis how much more it costs today to build the same thing than what it did back 5-6 years ago. This is the part of my spreadsheet that documents what I paid for these specific pieces of lumber in 2015. Now the prices may be off by a few pennies, but they are very close to what it was. I don't have any receipts from this time, but I do have a good memory when it comes to dollar signs. Now as you can see here, the 2 by 6 by 92 and 5/8 dimensional studs, I use about 60 of them to construct the walls of the main part of my house. And at that time, they were only running about $4.05. I used 6 2 by 6 by 16s in order to use for the seal plate that goes on top of the walls to join them together. And I used roughly 24 4 by 8 by 7/16 inch OSB boards. Here are the prices side by side of what I paid in 2015 and what they are as of yesterday when I went to Lowe's. A 2 by 6 by 92 and 5/8 stud is $12.52 as compared to $4.05 in 2015. A 2 by 6 by 16 is $25.87. And a sheet of OSB that is 4 by 8 by 7/16 is $59.80. That is incredible. I was talking to someone at the store and they were telling me that they think that the companies that make the OSB have a shortage in the glue that they use to stick the wood chips together. You probably noticed that some of the pictures that I used to document the price were stock photos from their website. The reason for that is that when I was looking at their lumber today, a lot of their lumbers did not have any price tags on them, which just leads me to conclude that they're probably increasing the prices again. But let's go ahead and break this down so you can see exactly how much more it costs to build the 4 walls that I built to my house 5 to 6 years ago. So as you can see, in 2015 I paid a total of around $615 for all of that wood that you see listed there in order to build the 4 walls to the main part of my house. If I were to do that today, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at the price, $2,341. That's almost 4 times more for a total of an increase of 381%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if that's not price inflation, then I don't know what is. I'm going to go ahead and put a whole bunch of pictures now that I took while I was there with actual prices. That way you can take a look for yourselves and see how much the price of lumber in Fairbanks, Alaska is going for nowadays. Ladies and gentlemen, these are in no particular order. I just thought that this would be a good exercise to document the prices of lumber, at least at this time. Even though I don't have receipts from 2005, I do remember the prices pretty well because I was actively building. But at least now we have some documentation to go ahead and go forward and see how the prices change, either to the upside or to the downside. All right, so enjoy. This is just a standard 2x4x8, and I remember that when I first got here in 2014, a 2x4x8 was less than $1. They were like 95 cents. I haven't shown you this yet, ladies and gentlemen, but prior to the end of last year, I had a bad feeling that lumber prices were going to escalate as they had been doing all of last year. So at that time, I got on a spreadsheet and figured out how much lumber I'm going to need for this year. And I went ahead and purchased everything that I think I'm going to need for this year. Now, I spent a pretty penny on it, but I sure am glad that I did, because I spent about $4,000 in lumber, and I'm sure that now that same lumber that I spent $4,000 on would be the equivalent of $6,000 to $7,000 at today's prices. Now look at this. This is 3/4 inch thick by 4x8 treated plywood. I remember a couple of years ago when I was building the floor to my fuel shed or to my fuel tent that I was complaining that I had to pay about $47 or so per sheet. And here we are a couple of years later, ladies and gentlemen, and it is almost twice as much. And one of the major purchases that I made when I bought all that wood last year is I bought a whole bunch of this at about $59 per. So should I wait it to purchase it this year, I would have been paying an extra 30% more than what this was priced at last year. I honestly don't know how people are able to afford to build a house nowadays. Not only is our economy in ruins, but inflation has definitely taken hold on the prices of everyday goods, and especially lumber prices.